Look at that. We are live and we're rolling here. Just thought we'd pop on here a little bit on this Sunday night. For those of you that are alert enough to pop in here and join, Duraki, I see you in there. And I see you guys popping in there. TJ. So good evening to all of you guys. Kevin. FBI. Anyways, guys, I just thought I'd do a quick update, maybe a little bit of updates on some new projects I'm working on, and maybe a little Q&A here tonight. Nothing crazy other than this room. I mean, there's some weird stuff in here. Hold on, because this is a child. This is like a giant body pillow thing, and, like, it's weird, right? So this is something that, like, pregnant women use to be comfortable, right? And, yeah, I don't use it. That's weird stuff right there. But this is a child. This is what happens after the women are comfortable, is this child here. So this is Swan. This is Swan. Whoa, she's seeing, like, something there. What? You guys better be making nice comments here, all right? Okay, well, she's done with me. Here's Mama. There's Mama. Hi, Mama. All right, guys, so anyways, I just thought we'd jump on here for a minute, and I don't know what that was all about, but she's a happy girl, and she probably saw, no offense, but she probably saw you guys in there, and she was like, whoa, where's this YouTube crowd coming from? Either that, or she's just hungry, or she's not happy that I was talking in an unkind way about the body pillow. There's various considerations here. So, long story short, I do have a couple projects I'm working on. I've actually been working on some merchandise stuff. We've been talking about Blue Isis and the Blue Line and things to get the message out. And as somebody who is a photographer and works with graphics all the time, I've actually had some projects of kind of behind the scenes, some graphics and concepts I've been working on for months. So I am looking at something and trying to put some merchandise together, you know, shirts and phone cases and things like that, but not something stupid. I mean, something that really carries the message and that's really graphically compelling, that gets people talking and gets people. I want us to be getting messages out there that get people to ask us questions, right? I want people to ask us questions and be like, well, what is that all about? What do you mean? And why does the blue line have to be stopped? Why? I'm adjusting my light here. Whoa, that was light. Okay, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to show you guys. Random show tonight. So yeah, I got this right here. How about a backlight on my head? How's that look? This is a studio strobe. This is actually a $2,000 light right here. You do not need to spend that much on a good light, but we are in this profession as a business. So there's the light. Let's shed some light on darkness. And no, let's not kill anyone. Let's not do violence. And I was talking to a man. I actually went paragliding yesterday, and I did a video when I was flying. I was a couple thousand feet above Lake Chelan, and the air was super smooth, and I popped a video. So if you want to see the video of when I was in the air, it's actually the first video I've done when I was in the air, because I'm still a fairly new pilot, and it was just so smooth and stable. Go to facebook.com/callmegav if you want to see that video when this one's over, because I don't have it handy right now. But I was talking to a man who had been out there paragliding. We were just talking about peace and things like that. And just how we have to not be seeking to be vengeful, right? We can't be seeking to be violent. If we want there to be peace, our mind cannot be, I want to get even with those who hurt me, but rather I want to stop hurt and help others. This is amore et honore. All right, amore et honore in Latin is love and honor, and I think that's a good, I was looking up that earlier, and I thought that's a good description. Amore et honore is a really good word for what we need. We need to have love and compassion, and we need to have honor in our fire and in our resistance and in our stand. Because if we don't do that, it doesn't work. There's no victory in vengeance. There really isn't. I know for the time being, like, oh, we want to get even, we want to get justice. Yes, justice, but real justice has compassion. I want people to stop being abused, and I want their abusers to stop abusing. So we have to have amore et honore. And if we don't have that, we're in trouble. Okay, so love your neighbor, guys. All right, so I'm going to pick out a couple of questions here tonight. I don't want to stay on for long. It's late. I want to go watch, like, Star Trek with my kids or something like that, because that's what you do, right? That's what you do, guys. So you guys tell me what you think, right? And tell me what you think about the idea of making some really cool graphical merchandise that'll carry that message. Is that something you're interested in? Quite honestly, I'm looking for ways to advance the channel, to put some good stuff out there, and also to monetize the channel, because a lot of stuff's getting demonetized, and we need to grow, right? And I need I got to keep the business moving forward, right? And this is not my day job. My day job is in photography stuff over at simfx.com, workshops, software, things like that. But I'm trying to continue ramping up what we can do here and how we can expand the message and stuff like that. So yep, I'm out here in Washington, travel a lot, but we're just plugging away. So all right, I'm going to take a couple questions before I wrap up. And I mean, somebody throw out some legitimate thoughts, right? Some legitimate thoughts or questions, as long as they're not just like, you know, whatever. Okay, so we'll take care of these trolls. We'll get there for that. And this guy he wants to be blocked, and so we'll take care of that because he's just trolling. We don't need that. We want good inputs. Somebody says they want a coffee mug. I'm actually looking. I'm digging deep. I don't like putting out junk stuff, right? I'm not like, oh, let's find some clip art and make a stupid T-shirt. And frankly, I don't wear. You guys may have noticed, I don't wear T-shirts much myself. So while I do value like the messages on a T-shirt, I want maybe to do something more, but ways, not just something dorky, but something that carries the message. And I've actually got a really cool graphic that I've put quite a bit of work on that I think you guys are really going to like, and I'll hopefully have something for you on that soon. As to Donald Trump, people always ask me what I think of Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is more swamp. He's more deep state. He's more of the same. Nothing has changed. People say, well, at least we didn't get Hillary. And I say, what would be the difference? A tyrant who tramples the Constitution is always a tyrant who tramples the Constitution. And I don't like to make it about faction, but what I am saddened by is the people that said, Trump's going to do good. He's going to set prisoners free. He's going to stop, right? He's going to stop the evil and the badness. And I said, no, he's not. I can already tell by the way he's talking that he's just dividing people against each other. And he's not going to stop tyranny. And lo and behold, the tyranny is increasing. The prison population is increasing. All the stuff is increasing. And you have a man that is openly defying the Constitution. And what saddens me is people who say they're patriots and they love liberty and they love freedom are still out there making excuses for this man. Okay? And I'm like, you guys are no different than the Obama sycophants, right? Because obviously Obama wasn't a hero either. He didn't save the day. He didn't stop the tyranny. He brought more of it, and that's exactly what Trump is doing. It's just a flip side of the coin. All right. So you know, the real hero is Jesus, guys. I mean, you know, he's the one that fixes things up, and I think we all need to try to be a little more like him. Maybe you don't agree with me on that. That's fine. But love your neighbor as yourself. And so somebody said, well, how can we help? And I think the way we got to help is we have to use our voice. We actually were at a little Bible study tonight, and we were just talking about how a righteous person, right, a Christian, or maybe you know, maybe whatever you believe, right? Jesus is the answer. But a righteous person is going to oppose the wicked, right? And absolutely, I will not keep religion out of this. Absolutely, I will not keep truth out of this. I never force someone else, right? I'm not a man who by force says, believe the way I believe. But a person who says, shut up because I don't want to hear what you believe because it offends me, is a person who does not want truth, all right? So we need to love truth. And I'm going to admonish people on that. Stop it. You know, the atheist says, I don't want to hear about God. And it's like, well, what's wrong with you? What scares you? Why are you afraid to hear someone else's opinion? All right? So long story short, just keep loving your neighbor. You don't have to believe like me, but I'm going to tell you how I believe, and then you can go from there, and I'm going to tell you the truth. But in the larger sense, right, a real Christian is someone who, not who goes to church on Sunday and holds their hand over their heart for the national anthem and makes confessions and altar calls, right? A righteous person is someone who does righteousness, who casts off evil. And you cannot be righteous, whatever your belief, right? You can't be righteous if you are not accusing, I think is what somebody said now. If you're not accusing evil. Good people accuse evil, and because of that, they're attacked. The Bundys, Schaefer Cox, Jeff Winehouse, these are good examples of people who accuse evil, and that's why they're in prison. The Bundys go to trial this week. They've been in jail 2 years, and they're just now going to trial for the Bundy Ranch incident, in which they stood up for your rights. Do you even know? Are people even paying attention? So what can we do? We can be loud. We can accuse evil, because this is the crux of what I'm saying. If one person accuses evil, they get put in a box or they get killed, all right? If a whole bunch of people accuse evil, if the world was speaking out against the corruption of the federal government and the land agencies and all that, like the Bundys, who are completely innocent of any crime, the only crime that was committed was against them, and the people that are opposing them are literally opposing their own freedom and the law itself, right? And so we get divided by faction, though, right? One faction will say, well, I don't like the Bundys. Another faction will say, I do. Quit getting divided on that. Get united on justice. Mike, thanks for the super chat there. Get united on justice. Quit worrying about the faction. And that's where the positive message is in here. How can we do something? How can we fight in an honorable way? How can we be amore et honore? Is by speaking out, by showing up, by stopping, by filming, being willing to accuse evil. Just like when I stop and I point at a police officer, right? And I say, what you're doing is wrong. It's not because I hate them. It's because I love them enough to tell the truth, all right? So it's really hard because we have an apathetic world. We have an apathetic nation. And what we need is not more vengeance. It's not more drunkenness. It's not more drugs. It's not even more weed, even though I support your right to have that. What we need is to have compassion. We need to care. We need to accuse the wicked and their minions, but not be vengeful against them. That's what we need. Zach, thanks, man. All right? So it's not about party. And no, Zach, in response, the Libertarian Party does not. The Libertarian Party represents faction. My feelings are both Republican and Libertarian, right? Because I believe in the concept of a republic in our Constitution, but certainly not the Republican Party. I believe in libertarian principles like our Founding Fathers, but the Libertarian Party is, quite frankly, an absolute joke. They're not libertarian. The Libertarian Party is not libertarian. That's what it amounts to. The Libertarian Party is like, give me as much drugs and abortion and killing babies and give me whatever I want, let me do whatever I want, except for when I want to have someone not do something that I don't like. Okay, it's another faction of hypocrisy and corruption. And as long as we are run by hypocrisy and corruption, we're going to end up in trouble. Amir, thank you. So we have to cast off the hypocrisy and the faction. It always comes back to faction. We say, well, what is faction? Faction is a group, right? And so you can have, like, a sports team is a faction. Now, a sports team could be a faction in a mild way that is not all bad. But faction generally grows, right? When it's political, religious faction, denomination, these things grow into we're better than you. Faction ultimately says you are less of a human being than I am because you don't belong to my faction, all right? And so how do they divide us? They divide us. Somebody just said, I believe a woman should have a right to do what she wants with her body, so I'm going to make a party about that. Sure, a woman has a right to do what she wants with her body. She has zero right to destroy another person's body because that's not a right. from cradle to grave, everyone has a right. And so if you're accusing the baby in the womb of not being a human being, you have to prove that, right? The victim that you're trying to put to death does not have to prove his innocence. You have to prove his guilt. So unless you can prove that the baby is not a human being, which you absolutely can't because science, if you actually look into it and do your homework, proves otherwise, right? It's absolutely a human. It's scientifically proven. And any doctor that's done their research or anybody else that's done their research knows full well it's a human being, okay? And so what do? They divide us on this with buzzwords of faction. I believe in women's right to choose. There's no women's right. No one has a right to choose. A woman doesn't have a right to choose to murder a baby any more than you have a right to choose to murder your neighbor, okay? Because a human being is inherent. So hypocrisy has to go. If you say, you know, this is a great reason why the Libertarian Party are not libertarians. It's literally impossible to say I believe in human rights and liberty, but I also want to be able to kill other people. Okay? And there's never an excuse to murder someone. You know, there's times when babies are premature and they die in birth, but not because people are hacking them up with butcher knives and chemicals in the mother's womb, right? And so everybody always has an excuse. I define life at this, I define life at that. The human rights could care less what you define. And here's the problem with the argument. It's no different than what we said about killing Indians or Muslims or blacks. It's no different, guys. Everyone to excuse who they want to kill makes the excuse that it's not a human being. History always corrects their genocide. History always proves their evil. If you're killing people in anything but defense, right? If you're out killing in anything but defense against yourself or someone else's life, you passed your rights, right? And so this isn't a political debate. Defending human life from conception to grave is not a political debate. Standing up against police and their blue ISIS terrorism. This isn't a political debate. This is basic morality, you guys. This is not a matter of religion. This is a matter of simple black and white. You do not support human rights if you support you having those rights and them being violated on the person of someone else. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm not saying this here to cause division on faction. I'm saying we want to throw out this faction. We're being fed lies by faction. And what's ironic is the left of politics says, you know, abortion's on demand, right? Kill all the babies that we want because that's freedom. The right says, don't kill all the babies, but except in these cases. They're actually both on the same side, and this is what you have to see. Both the so-called left and the so-called right both support the violation of your rights and the baby's rights. They just have different spin on it. But rest assured that a person who is supporting the killing of any innocent person, they don't support your rights. They support their view of rights. And so if that person, if you're looking at your neighbor sitting at the table next to you, and they're like, well, I should have a right to kill somebody, rest assured, that kind of a person, that kind of a mind can make an excuse that you should be killed too. Don't kid yourself. Anybody who's sane, right? And so everybody's always got an excuse. Think about it. Think about it. If someone commits a crime against you, does that give you the right to commit a crime against someone else? If someone wrongs you, should you be able to murder someone else? I mean, we're dealing with concepts because of faction. That's where I'm going with this. We're dealing with concepts that should be completely obvious to the rational mind. I'm saying, and I'm not, see, the numbers are going down now, right? Because I'm not feeding you the entertainment you want. The numbers are going down because I'm not telling you, you know, the convenient truths. I'm telling you the hard stuff. The rational mind is not okay with people being killed, regardless of their state. That's not a normal, moral, rational mind. And so if you think that way, you're sick in your mind. And I'm not saying that you're the worst person ever, right? There's a lot of deception going on. I'm saying we're being fed sickness from these factions, from these liars. People are using buzzwords like right to choose. And what they're saying is not right to choose, it's right to murder. People are using buzzwords like free speech even while they silence your free speech. Politicians are using buzzwords like democracy when a democracy is the opposite of freedom. They're using words against you and they're spinning them in a nice way to make you support your own destruction. Because understand that if you support the rights of another, and both factions are doing this, don't think this is a left-right paradigm, okay? If you support the destruction and abuse, torture, murder, imprisonment of another innocent person over here, you absolutely support the abuse that will come on yourself, even if you don't realize it. And so we need to understand that. So somebody asked, what can we do? Well, and I said, we need to speak the hard truths. We need to accuse evil, right? And so that's what I just did. I just said things that people on this channel didn't want to hear because they're not ready to be free. They're still in their minds, some people on here are still thinking like slaves. Soon as I started talking about abortion, right, the numbers went down. Everyone has a right to life. So your right to choose is your right to choose life. Your right to choose is the right to choose to keep your pants on. Your right to choose is the right to choose that you're not ready to raise a baby, and so you put it up for adoption. Your right to choose is the right to choose your speech, to choose where you live, to choose the food that you eat. You see what I'm saying? All the rights, the human rights are all the same, and you can't support one without the other. Life, liberty, and property. So I'm saying that, guys, I love you enough to say, stop pretending you support freedom if you only support part of it. It doesn't matter if you're looking at the Democrat Party or the Republican Party or the Libertarian Party. None of them are defending freedom. They're all supporting the crony politics, the enforcers of tyranny, and they're all doing it with their own spin that pretends it's free, and they're doing it to enslave you to their system. And that's not freedom. That's not free thought. All right? Be free thinkers. Put yourself in the shoes of the person being imprisoned, murdered, executed by police, by abortionists. See what I'm saying? When I talk to reasoning people that have grown up in a faction that believes in this or that, right? And we talk about these matters, they start thinking, and it's hard. I know it's hard. It's just like when I go to my patriot friends and I'm like, all the abortion stuff, all the immigration stuff, take this another direction. All the immigration stuff is a scam. There is no immigration problem. There's a government problem. There was no such thing as an illegal alien to the founding fathers. There's no such thing as a border patrol. A federal border patrol in the Constitution. And people start flying off the handle, just like the left does when I talk about a child's right to life. The right does it to me when I talk about the fact that you're not better than a Mexican, and their rights are exactly the same, and the Constitution is not just for you, okay? All this stuff. And so I catch the flack from both sides, guys, and that's what I mean. That's where we change the world, I think. Is by that humility, a change of our hearts, loving our neighbor as ourselves, like Jesus taught, and being willing to speak the truth. The truth is not a casual thing. And so people say, well, words are cheap. Yeah, easy, safe words are cheap. But hard, true words cost a lot. And I know, because they cost me a lot, right? There'll be people unfollowing my channel because I said this about immigration, or I said this about babies. And it's like, and there'll be people commenting after this video saying like, unfollow, I'm done with you. And I'm going to be like, okay, I'm sorry that you're asleep, right? I'm sorry that you don't want to be free in your mind and in your body and in your spirit. And so unfollow, but you know what? The loss is not mine. Because when we speak the truth, we're empowered by the truth, all right? So somebody asked a question, and I thought that question was pointing in there at some point. And so I know we got a lot of questions. Jim says, when you invoke Jesus, I'm out of here. And let's address that. Jesus. I'm invoking Jesus. I am pleading to Jesus to intervene on my behalf, because that's where my hope rests. If your hope doesn't rest in that, Jim, that's your choice. I'm not going to force that on you. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime when the crud starts flying, right? But if your mindset is, I'm out of here because someone believes in a way I don't believe, you're not even in the fight. You never were here in the first place. You see what I'm saying, guys? So if somebody says, oh, Gavin, like, I'm glad Gavin supports freedom, but he's a religious nut job because he believes in Jesus. I'm like, well, what do you believe in? Atheism? You think that's not a religion? It's just a religion that has no explanation for its own beliefs, right? And so believe what you want. I'll defend the atheist rights. I'll defend the Muslims' rights. I don't care. Human rights. You see what I'm getting at here, guys? And you can go back in my videos for years. And the message hasn't changed. This isn't about faction. It's not about America's the greatest and we're what matters, so bomb everyone else. It's not about left is better, right is better, libertarian is better. It's not about freedom is only for Christians or freedom is only for people who believe in my faction. All that stuff. Understand that the patriot, redneck, churchgoer that says freedom is only for Americans, and you're like, what an idiot. If you say, like, Christians are idiots and we shouldn't listen to them, you're no different, guys. You're no different. So we need to wake up. We need to be peace. Amore et honore. Love and honor. That's what we need more of. All right? So anyways, I've been going on for a while, but I think this was a good talk. And, thanks to your guys' some of your thoughts and questions in there brought up some good things, right? Even some of you that may be negative towards me, but understand that I'm not angry at you. When I speak the truth, or if I speak admonishingly or say something and say, whoa, bro, that's wrong, right? It's not hate. And I'm trying to convey to you that we need not hate. We need not hate. We need the opposite. We need love, even against the people that are hurting others. Now, don't misunderstand me. People say, Gavin, you need to show grace and love. Grace and love is not sitting in a corner demurely and letting people hurt other people and not speaking the truth. That's not grace. The fakianity church in America loves to promote grace as, oh, it's like a free gift ticket to heaven. When I talk about Jesus and Christianity, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual Jesus in the Bible. Read about him. Not some book that the latest super duper saint put out. Thanks for running out of air. All right, so anyways, just keep speaking the truth, right? I'm talking about even when people are bad, you still call them out. You still accuse the wicked, just like I do to the prosecutor here that still won't get back my phone and is trying to have me forced to give up the password to my phone so he can root around on my phone to find something to put me in jail for. Okay, these are wicked people, but I don't want to hurt them. I wish for their eyes to be opened. And in the meantime, I wish that they have to stop abusing people, right? So I do oppose them, but I don't hate. Just love your neighbor. And I hope you guys can kind of see what I'm getting at. You can be ferocious. You can defend people's rights. You can stand up for people without agreeing with them. And you can also stand up for people and their rights. You can stand up for the victim that's being persecuted by government and stand up for their rights and oppose the criminal, the blue ISIS, while at the same time defending the rights of the blue ISIS and not wanting to become a lynch mob upon them. All right? So just some things to chew on. It's Sunday night, right? It's got some deeper thoughts going on. We're a nation of slaves in the USA. A lot of countries are. And we need to start comprehending the level of lies that we've been fed and start using our sense. So we'll see what happens this week. I got some projects I'm working on. I'll keep you guys posted, and we will go from there. And we'll keep clearing out these trolls. We keep cleaning out the trolls and the people that are trying to bait and things like that, and just stir up trouble. But a lot of great conversation, and you guys just keep it up. We're raising the level. We're raising the level, and we just got to keep doing that. Keep speaking out. You guys have a good night. Thanks for the support. Keep spreading. Mash that like button. Subscribe. All that good stuff. And keep it up. Bye-bye, guys.